The story begins with Loke connecting to Awa in a dream. He soars through Pandora's glowing skies beside his brother Netyam, racing their Ikrans, laughing and competing like they used to. When they land, the mood shifts. Netyam looks at Loke and quietly asks how he died. Loke freezes as the memory crashes back. He admits everything: the gunshot, the mistake, the guilt he has carried since that day. But Netyam only smiles. He pulls Loke into a hug and tells him it was never his fault. Loke wakes up shaking. The dream fades, but the guilt stays. Along the shoreline, Kiri sits with Spider as he stares out at the ocean. He wishes he could connect to Awa like the others. Kiri listens calmly, but Spider cannot escape the feeling that he does not belong. Back at home, Neteri mourns openly, still crying for her son. Jake does the opposite. He shuts down, turning his pain into action. He begins collecting weapons from the sunken artiships, preparing for the future he knows is coming. Loke and Saraya dive with him, pulling crates of guns and ammunition from the wrecks. When they return, Tanawari confronts Jake, warning him that this path goes against the Na'vi way. Ronal agrees, reminding him that Awa provides for her children, not machines. Jake refuses to back down. He tells them the Sky People will return, stronger and better armed. Spears will not be enough. He promises he will never be Toruk Makto again, but he will take revenge. Far away, Quaritch continues his hunt for the Na'vi. He demands another ship from Commander Ardmore, but she shuts him down, reminding him that he already lost one to the ocean. Back in the village, Loke sinks deeper into guilt. He feels responsible for his family falling apart, trying to heal the wound he has caused. Jake gives Neteri a new bow, forged with modern technology. Instead of comfort, Neteri refuses it. She asks where Awa was when their son died. Jake has no answer. He holds her and promises to love her for the rest of his life. Later, Loke takes Spider and the others to see Payakan, the mighty Tulkun who has finally been welcomed back into the pod. The moment feels peaceful, almost healing, until Spider's breathing mask fails underwater. Panic sets in. Loke searches frantically, finds a spare mask, and saves him at the last second. Even after that, Neteri keeps her distance from Spider. To her, he represents everything the humans have taken from them. The calm suddenly breaks as horns echo across the sea. Saraya arrives with urgent news. The Wind Traders have come. Massive flying ships descend from the clouds, delivering supplies to the Metcalina. After that, Jek decided Spider must return to the Sky People. Keeping him here is too dangerous. Spider and the kids argue that he is family, but Jake refuses to risk another loss. After a painful argument, Jake and Neteri reach a compromise. The entire family will escort Spider back themselves, one final journey together. As they prepare to leave, tension hangs in the air. The Wind Trader leader PK makes it clear he does not trust Jake, saying trouble always follows him. Jake promises that this time, he will keep everyone safe. As the ships rise into the sky, Loke, Kiri, and Spider look back at their home, unaware that far greater danger lies ahead. At the Arda base, Quaritch receives an alert. Unidentified flyers are moving through the airspace, matching Jake Sully's last known coordinates. As the traders slip through a narrow canyon, Spider's breathing mask begins to beep. The battery is dying. At the same moment, Neteri stiffens, her eyes locking on something forming on the horizon. The sky darkens. The Ash People, the Manuan clan, descend from above. Massive warriors streak through the air on Ikrans, their weapons burning. Chaos erupts before anyone can react. The Wind Traders fight back, but they are overwhelmed. Loke reaches for his gun, ready to help, then realizes his radio is gone. He rushes back, only to find it melting in the flames. Ignoring Jake's orders, Loke dives into the fight. His Ikran weaves through fire arrows until one strikes its wing. They spin out of control and crash. Loke hits hard, somehow still alive. On the ship, panic takes over. Fire spreads across the deck as explosions tear through the sky. Through the smoke, an Ash warrior charges toward Kiri and Took. Spider steps in and fires an arrow, straight through the warrior's chest. Jake battles the attackers head-on. Farong, their ruthless leader, spots him and throws a firebomb. The explosion slams into the ship, sending Jake sliding down a burning ramp, barely holding onto a rope. Then Neteri arrives. She crashes into Varong, fierce and relentless. Arrows fly, fire roars. Even after taking a hit, Neteri keeps fighting. Above them, the balloon ignites, flames racing across it. Kiri, Spider, and Took escape on an Ikran, Jake's own. Ikran dives in at the last second and saves him. Neteri is struck again and falls, vanishing into the thick jungle below. The trader ship breaks apart in midair and crashes into the forest. Kiri's group slams into the ground, barely surviving. Spider checks his gear and realizes the truth. His spare mask batteries are gone. He left them on the ship. His oxygen is dropping fast. Moving through the smoke-filled forest, Loke sees ash warriors attacking other Na'vi. He hesitates. When they spot him, the choice is gone. The chase begins, racing through the glowing trees. Loke finally fires and brings them down. Later, Varon finds the bullet wounds and understands what happened. Sky People weapons were used. That's when Quaritch arrives, alive and hunting. Near a stream, Ash Warriors corner Kiri, Loke, Took and Spider. They leap into the water and let the current drag them away. Back at the wreckage, Jake searches desperately through the bodies, calling Netiri's name. Then Hurricane stirs and senses him. She is wounded, but alive. Elsewhere, Loke and the others wash ashore. Spider's mask flashes red. 3% battery left. They cannot reach Jake. Loke decides to head back toward the wreckage, even if it means death. Suddenly, Quaritch ambushes Jake. Jake freezes, shocked to see his enemy alive. Netiri takes off on Hurricane, but Quaritch finds Spider's spare mask among the ruins. He understands instantly. The children are out there, exposed. Jake sees his chance and tells him the Ash People are hunting the kids. Quaritch hesitates. Then he demands Jake lead him to them. Deep in the forest, Spider collapses as his air runs low. As his breathing slows, Kiri enters a trance. She feels something moving beneath the roots, glowing softly in the dark. She tells Loke to lay Spider down, then forces a piece of the creature's flesh into his mouth. The ground begins to glow. Vines rise from the soil, wrapping around Spider's body, pulsing with Awa's power. Kiri gives everything she has, her body shaking as roots twist together and form a living cocoon. Then everything goes quiet. She cuts the roots away. For a moment, it looks like Spider is gone. Then his finger moves. He gasps and takes a breath. No mask. No oxygen tank. He is breathing Pandora's air. For the first time, he truly belongs to this world. There is no time to celebrate. Ash warriors surround them, closing in from all sides. Varon steps forward, frozen at the sight of a human holding a machine gun. She grabs Spider by the throat, ready to kill him. He frees Jake, throws him a knife, and together they strike the warriors around them. Varon crushes Quaritch Norokyu, the tail-like link, sending pain tearing through his body. Varon demands to know how the guns work. Quaritch refuses until she threatens his life. He finally shows her. She watches closely, impressed, almost amused. She smiles and tells him she no longer needs him. They are captured again. Nearby, Netiri is carried away for treatment, barely clinging to life. The Ash People celebrate, dancing wildly around the fire. Jake, Quaritch, Loke, and the others are tied up, unable to move. Then something shifts in the forest. Kiri closes her eyes and reaches into the roots beneath her. The ground answers. Plants twist and rise, forming a massive spiked flower that bursts from the soil and begins pulling the guards inside. While the Ash People celebrate their victory, Loke makes his move. He slips free of his ropes, and the group vanish into the jungle. They plunge into Pandora's glowing waters and swim for hours through the dark until they finally find a place to rest. There, Jake tries to reason with Quaritch. He tells him this world can never truly belong to humans. He points to Spider and Kiri and says the planet changes you. Quaritch refuses to listen. Even in a Na'vi body, he knows exactly who he is. A soldier. A killer. At sunrise, movement stirs in the trees. The group prepares to fight, but it is not the enemy. Na'vi warriors rush in, and Netiri runs forward, breaking down when she sees her family alive. Everyone freezes when they notice Spider. He stands among them, breathing freely, without a mask. It should be impossible, but there he is. Far away, Quaritch returns to Bridgehead City. He storms into the lab and orders the scientists to find the boy. Whatever changed Spider, he believes, may be the key to humans surviving on Pandora without oxygen. Back at the village, Dr. Norm runs tests and makes a shocking discovery. Pandora's mycelial network has fused with Spider's body, altering him at a cellular level. He has even grown a Q, the same neural braid as the Na'vi. Later, Kiri goes to the spirit tree and calls out to the Great Mother. She demands answers, asking why Spider was not saved, and why she had to be the one to do it. A blinding light flashes, and Kiri's body begins to convulse. She suffers another seizure. When she wakes, Jake and Netiri finally decide to tell her the truth. Kiri has no father. When Grace was found pregnant, the pregnancy matched the creation of an avatar. Kiri was not conceived. She was brought into existence by Awa herself, a living seed of Pandora. Kiri is the great mother's daughter, but Norm warns her that every deep connection to Awa, especially underwater, puts her life at risk. Netiri later says something that horrifies everyone. She suggests killing Spider if he becomes a threat to their people. Jake shuts her down immediately. He refuses to lose another child. Elsewhere, the human hunters, Mick and Ian, continue slaughtering Tulkins for Amrit, the substance that stops aging. At the Metkiina village, Tanawari calls a council to address the killings. Despite her wounds, Netiri resumes training with her bow. But the council's focus shifts when judgment is passed on Payakan. He is accused of killing humans and breaking Tulkun law. His punishment is exile. Payakan does not resist. He quietly says he will no longer hear his song in the sea. Lok tries to defend him, shouting that Payakan saved lives, but no one listens. Jake pulls his son away. In that moment, everything collapses. Jake snaps, blaming Lok for Netyam's death and accusing him of constant disobedience. The words cut deeper than any weapon. Lok says nothing and walks away. Netiri urges Jake to go after him, but Jake only says he has no words. In her grief, Netiri admits she would kill Spider if it meant protecting her children. Jake tells her to stop hating, but she fires back, saying she hates the human mind and its corruption. Jake answers bitterly that she must hate him too, because he is human inside, and so are their children. Netiri storms off. Later, Jake finds her and apologizes. Meanwhile, Lok sits alone, with a gun in his hands, drowning in despair. For a moment, it seems like he might pull the trigger. Kiri and Soraya find him in time. They comfort him and remind him that he matters. Together, they begin to heal. Lok and Soraya craft a new bow. Kiri teaches Spider how to bond with Pandora's creatures through his neural connection. Far away, Korich attacks other Na'vi clans, burning villages and torturing prisoners, all to find Spider. Eventually, he returns to the Ash people with a bag full of weapons. He is captured and dragged before Varong. Calm and calculating, he opens the bag and displays the guns. To prove his power, he signals a hidden sniper. One shot, one kill. Varong is impressed. She brings him into her hut, filled with firelit relics. She crushes red powder in her hand and blows it into Korich's face. The world twists as hallucinations take hold. Through the flames, Varong tells her story. Her home was burned to ash. Fire took everything. Her people starved. Awa never answered. In her rage, she learned the power of fire, and now she claims it as her own. She says she is the fire. She spits on the ground and calls Awa weak, a mother of weak children. Korich smiles. He tells her that humans can help her spread the flames, burn the old gods, and destroy Awa. He offers endless weapons. Fire and metal join together. Back at the sea village, the Tulkins gather once more to bond with Awa. Netiri trains without rest, rebuilding her strength as the storm ahead draws closer. Soraya arrives with unsettling news. Her spirit sister heard a song drifting across the water. Lok knows what that means. He does not hesitate. Before leaving, he hands Netiri a bow he repaired with his own hands. The same bow Jake once made for her. She takes it without a word. Jake moves to follow his son, but Tanawari stops him. He tells Jake to trust Lok, to let him walk his own path. The strength of their ancestors runs in him. So Lok goes alone, flying over a raging ocean, chasing the distant call of the only friend who never turned his back on. Back at the village, Spider wonders out loud if Netiri would ever love him if he were blue like the others. Kiri answers without words. She smiles, leans in and kisses him gently, whispering that he is perfect exactly as he is. Then, the Ash people rise from the forest like living shadows. Spider pushes Kiri into hiding and steps forward with his hands raised. He is taken by Korich. Kiri watches helplessly as Spider is dragged away. Kiri runs to Jake in terror. Spider is gone. At the same time, Korich delivers Spider to the human forces and immediately sets out for the Na'vi village with Varong and her Ash warriors. When they reach the shore, Jake orders Netiri to take the children and flee. She refuses. She will not leave him again. Korich lifts his flamethrower, ready to turn the village to ash. Jake steps forward and makes an offer. His life in exchange for his people's safety. Korich agrees. Jake is taken prisoner, and the village is spared. They return to Bridgehead City. The human commander demands total extermination of the Na'vi, but decides to wait. Jake and Spider are too valuable. Inside the base, both are locked in glass cells. Scientists surround Spider, experimenting on him. Desperate to understand how a human can breathe Pandora's air. Far across the ocean, Lok finally finds Payakan. He is alive, but broken, with only one other Tulkun left behind. Back at the Arda base, Korich visits Spider. He thanks him for saving his life during the shipwreck, and says he has the heart of a warrior. Before leaving, He places his old dog tags in Spider's hands. Elsewhere, the commander and Scoresby prepare a full-scale attack on the Tulkun gatherings. One of the scientists tries to stop them, warning of the consequences, but his words fall on deaf ears. In the heart of the base, Jake Sully is displayed like a prize, sealed inside a glass cage. Quaritch comes to see him once more. Jake tells him the truth. The man he used to be is dead. He tells Quaritch to stop trying to own this world and start feeling it instead. Out at sea, Nettery finally takes up the weapons Jake once made for her. She is ready to fight. Spider forces open a vent and slips away just as Nettery strikes. Outside the city, she ambushes two Ash soldiers, kills them, takes their armor, and walks straight into Bridgehead disguised as one of the enemy. Inside the complex, Ian climbs into a massive crane, planning to tear the operation apart from within. Nettery moves through the corridors, hunting for Jake, until Varong blocks her path. They clash in the brutal fight, and Nettery demands know where Jek is. She tells Jek is in the animal prison. After that, Quaritch appears next and attacks, but Nettery holds her ground. She mounts her Ikran, fires a bomb into a fuel tank, and the explosion rips through the city. In the chaos, she smashes through reinforced walls and shatters the glass prison holding Jake. Soldiers, open fire. Ian steps in front of Jake with the mech, shielding him from bullet. When they are in the hallway, Ian shouts the truth. The Arda plans to wipe out every Tulkun within 2 days. As they flee, a missile locks on. Spider throws himself in front of Jake, forcing the officer to abort the strike. Seconds later, Nettery crashes in, destroys the gunship, and pulls them to safety. The three escape on their Ikrans, rising into the open sky. Jake signals them to land. Jake tells Nettery the truth. Quaritch will never stop hunting spiders. The humans will study him, learn how to live on Pandora, and destroy it the same way they destroyed Earth. Jake takes Nettery's knife. His hands shake, but he believes this is the only way. He calls Spider forward. Spider drops to his knees as Jake begins a prayer to Awa, pleading for mercy. Jake raises the blade, trembling, and freezes. He cannot do it. Nettery rushes to Spider, tears in her eyes. She whispers, "I see you." Jake lets the knife fall and pulls Spider into his arms. He promises they will find another way. Jake keeps that promise. He enters a sacred cave and calls out to the legendary predator, Toruk. Jake bonds with the beast once more and reclaims the title of Toruk Makto. He flying to the Metkayina village. Tanawari and his people kneel as Jake commands every clan to be summoned. The day of battle has come. Across Pandora, the tribes answer. The clans unite, but they still need the Tulkun. The elders refuse until Lok and Soraya step forward. Standing beside Payakan, Lok speaks from the heart, telling Payakan's story. Then Payakan's sister, the last survivor of their pod, rises from the water and recounts the slaughter of their kind. Her words break the council. The elders stand and declare they will fight. At Bridgehead, the commander grounds Quaritch, forbidding him to join the mission. He ignores the order. Kiri feels destiny closing in. She meets Ronal, who warns her that her path is sacred and dangerous. Jake prepares for war and gives Lok one final command: protect the family. Then the war begins. Thousands of Arda ships move in to exterminate the Tulkun. Across the sea, the united Na'vi prepared. Mick Scoresby's whaling fleet advances, but the ocean is unnaturally quiet. Without warning, the water explodes as dozens of Tulkun breach at once. Led by their great matriarch, they dive deep and launch upward like living weapons, ripping ships apart. The Na'vi attack from everywhere, from the air, the sea, and the sky. Toruk Makto dives through fire and smoke, destroying gunships. Tanawari and Payakan crush submarines. Ronal fights with her spear like a goddess of war. Nettery rains arrows from above. Then the sky darkens again. Varong and the Ash people arrive with Quaritch, defying orders. Fire bombs light the horizon, and the Na'vi are pushed back. Kiri knows what she must do. She leaves with Spider for the spirit tree while Lok and Payakan defend them with everything they have. Beneath the water, Kiri connects, but the Great Mother violently rejects her. She convulses, losing control. Spider grabs her, grounding her. Together they dive deeper, joined by Tuk at the last moment. Above the waves, Nettery and Varong clash in a savage duel of fire and fury. Kiri reaches the spirit tree once more and begs for help. Before Awa can answer, a missile strikes. The spirit tree shatters and sinks. Nettery is burned. Ronal is shot. Payakan takes a direct hit and vanishes beneath the sea. In that moment, everything feels lost. Jake and Toruk are blasted into the ocean. The survivors wash ashore beaten and bleeding, but alive. Ronal, dying, gives birth in Nettery's arms, a baby girl. With her final breath, Ronal whispers, "Protect her," and then she's gone. Jake thanks Lok for his courage, for bringing the Tulkun back into the fight. But the war isn't finished. Quaritch and Varong land nearby, dragging Tuk with them. over the comes. Quaritch makes his demand. Trade Spider for your daughter. Jake looks to Loke and say this time to prove yourself then. Out at sea, Scoresby's fleet surrounds the waters. Sound weapons charging. Torpedoes locked, ready to slaughter the Tulkun. Hundreds of ships wait. Then the ocean moves. The spirit tree begins to glow again. Awa has answered. The sea rises in fury. Elu and massive sea beasts surge upward, ripping ships apart. Toruk roars across the sky, calling wild Ikrin into the battle. The ocean burns, and it fights back. Pyakin crashes through Scoresby's flagship, alive and unstoppable, dragging Scoresby into the depths. The Arda fleet collapses. Jake and Loke storm the flagship to save. Neteri and Took, Spider and Kiri follow close behind. On the deck, Varong and Quaritch are waiting. Jake signals Loke to cover him. The fight explodes again. Arrows fly. Bullets tear through steel. Fire spreads across the ship. Kiri steps forward. She connects her cue and reaches into Varong's mind. Overwhelmed by terror, Varong breaks and runs into the flames. Quaritch grabs Spider and escapes on an Ikrin. Jake mounts Toruk and gives chase. They collide in midair, claws and fire ripping through the sky. Spider jumps from Quaritch Ikrin to Jake's, barely holding on. Quaritch falls, but the fight still isn't over. A sudden magnetic storm erupts, pulling metal into a violent vortex. Weapons, armor, ships, all torn from the sky. Jake crashes hard, badly injured. Quaritch approaches, ready to finish it. Spider grabs a bow and shoots an arrow into his father's arm. They clash hand to hand on floating rock and burning debris. Spider slips. Quaritch catches him, holding him up with his wounded arm. Jake reaches down and pulls them both to safety. For a moment, everything is silent. Father and son, enemy and warrior, locked in one final stare. Quaritch, let's go. He falls into the storm, into the fire, and disappears. The war is finally over. The Sully family holds each other. Days later, the Na'vi clans gather at the spirit tree. The newborn child is connected to Awa, her small braid glowing with life. A familiar song echoes through the air. Pyakin has returned to the sea. Spider stands beside Kiri and connects to the tree. He sees Awa, and for the first time, he is accepted as one of the Na'vi. In the vision, Grace and Netyam smile peacefully among the roots. Kiri whispers that he is with Awa now. The view pulls back, revealing all the clans united beneath the glowing skies of Pandora. A new dawn begins. A new chapter opens. With that, this movie ends.